All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about content and frequency, how the entire game of content is just a game of frequency. And this is important to understand because if you're going to start doing something, you need to understand the why behind it. That way, you're not measuring the wrong results and the wrong metrics, like things like likes, views. Although that does matter, if that's the only metric you're going by, you're not going to be very consistent for a long enough time to even see results. Okay. So this right here is you. All right. Now you're an expert in something, whether you think you are or you think you're not. What it really comes down to is who you're comparing yourself to. So if you're comparing yourself to somebody who's, levels ahead of you with knowledge and it's somebody that you're learning from, then yeah, you probably don't feel like an expert. But if you think about it, if you take a step back and leave your mentors where they are and now, position yourself as an authority, there's other people that can learn a lot of things from you. And in their eyes, you're an expert. Okay. So this is a very important distinction that you have to make, because what's going to happen is you're going to start creating content and you're going to watch your videos back. Okay. And then what's going to happen is you're going to start nitpicking at everything. You're going to be like, oh, I forgot to mention this. Should have mentioned this. That didn't sound right. I slipped up on a word here. Nobody cares about that stuff, okay? The things that people care about is the knowledge that they have now acquired from you. That's it, okay? So whatever you are an expert in, what you are going to do is you're going to create content on a specific problem within that niche. And what happens is your content literally turns into clones of you, okay? So imagine this, right? You're sleeping, or you're out eating dinner with your wife or your husband, right? And while you're doing that, your content is working 24/7. So it's literally a clone of you that's out in the interweb, right? That's working 24/7, telling people about the service that you provide, okay? And that's the compound effect that you can build from just creating content every single week. All right, whether you want to create YouTube videos, short form content, if you're more of a writer, you want to create posts on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. Right? It doesn't matter where you're creating content. You just have to understand that creating content, what you're doing is you're literally duplicating yourself and you're taking that knowledge and distributing it in front of people. Okay, so what happens is people will be searching for a problem online and they're going to stumble upon your content. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to draw them in, and basically they're now in your ecosystem. Okay. This is very important because what happens is, so let me take a step back. All right. If you're not making content around the subject that you're an expert in, somebody else is. And that person that is now drawing in all of your leads into their ecosystem. So this is why content today is a non-negotiable when it comes to marketing. You need to position yourself as, I don't really like to say this because everyone says, yeah, you need to position yourself as an authority, but it's true. You need to create content showcasing your expertise by solving problems for people, okay? And a lot of the times, these problems are just little unlocks. A lot of people, most of the time, people know what they need to do, but they're going to stumble across your video, and then your video is going to be the thing that just kind of clicks in their head and gives them the next step that they need to take to progress in, whatever direction they're going. So now that they're in your ecosystem, what's going to happen is they're going to start continuously consuming your stuff. So whether that's, a video like you're doing right now, whether that's a lead magnet PDF, right? That you have them opt into a lead magnet, and now you're basically just giving them even more value. That's what's happening here. And then maybe they subscribe to your newsletter. Now maybe they go to your Instagram and they watch more videos. Then they go on your website, right? While all of this is happening, they're generating ideas, okay? And these ideas correlate back to whatever problems they're dealing with, all right? And this is actually a stat from Google. It's called Google's 7-11-4 rule. And it states that the average person needs to see your message 7 times, visit your website 11 times, and consume 4 hours of your content before they make a purchase decision. Now, this isn't something that's like set in stone. This is just an average. So it's very possible that somebody can just consume one video of yours and then immediately be like, nah, this dude gets it. I'm gonna book a call with him right now, and I just wanna buy a service, right? That's very common. But also, another common thing is you post more than 4 hours of content online and you're still not booking calls. What that really just comes down to, it's just a skill issue, right? You're just not really good. You're not good yet. You're not good enough yet to where you're able to convey the message that you're trying to broadcast. And when you're not good at conveying that message, you're not going to attract leads. You're not going to draw people into your ecosystem. And the way you solve that is just by making more content, right? The way you get better at anything. I like to use skateboarding as an analogy. I have my skateboard right there. And if you ask a skater, like, how do you land a kickflip, right? How do you land a kickflip? You just practice. There's no other way to land a kickflip. There's not some secret technique that I can teach you that's going to make you, all of a sudden land a kickflip, right? I can give you some pointers, but at the end of the day, you probably have to, attempt 1,000 kickflips before you can start landing kickflips. Same deal goes with content, all right? Now, once people are in your ecosystem, they're consuming your stuff, they start implementing what they learn. And what happens here is people start seeing you as kind of like their mentor. They pretty much do. They see you as their mentor, and you're able to solve, they're able to solve more problems by coming back to your ecosystem, consuming more of your content, downloading more of your lead magnets, buying more of your products, and in return, they're leveling up, all right? Then what happens is they get to a point, not everybody, some people, your content is enough to, continuously solve their problems. But then there is the few people that, have the budget and decide that they just want somebody to implement it for them. And then that's where they book a call, all right? So that's basically how content works. And the most important thing you can understand about content is the only way for it to work is for you to frequently show up. It's an entire game of frequency. By frequently showing up, you are creating leverage, all right? Your leverage is literally these clones of you that you're deploying into the internet, all right? Every single piece of content you create is a clone that's going out and recruiting people and bringing them back into your ecosystem. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how content works in a nutshell. So I'm planning on making one video like this every single week now that I got this whiteboard. I picked it up from Staples. It's a pretty nice whiteboard. This took me about 20 minutes to draw, so I think, it's pretty reasonable to say I can easily bang out one video like this every single week. So that is it. I will catch you in the next video.